No Tundra today, but we have a very interesting test drive to do. The first drive of the 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro, completely, and I mean completely redesigned. Toyota has done a lot of redesigns of all of their models over the last few years, but this one may be the coolest in the best trim you could get. Let's take it for a ride. This may be one of the coolest test drives I've ever done. At least one I'm very excited for. I've always been a fan of the 4Runner. My wife and I owned one from 2020 to 2023, and that was a TRD Off-Road Premium. Now the old generation 4Runner and the new generation, like what we're in now, night and day difference. There was a time period, if many of you have been around Toyota for a while, there was a time period where people said the Toyota designs, as far as what they're doing with their vehicles, was very bland. And I think Toyota took offense to that, because over the past few years, all of the redesigns have been fairly radical, including this 4Runner. Now, people love the 4Runner. They love what the 4Runner represents. It's like the Jeep Wrangler of the Toyota lineup. So when they finally did a redesign, people were going to be going over the vehicle very critically, meaning they wanted to make sure the redesign was done well. So you'll have to go down in the comments and let me know of what you think of the 4Runner redesign. Now, what we're sitting in right now is obviously the TRD Pro trim, which is one of the more expensive trims you could get regardless of model. Tundra, Tacoma, it's always expensive. As this vehicle sits, this is $73,000 and some change, so it is not cheap. The old 4Runner loaded up was in, I believe, the lower 50s, if I remember correctly, so the price has certainly jumped. Now, the starting price of the TRD Pro in the new generation for 4Runner is actually in the higher 60s, but this has some extras on it. This has the onboard compressor. This has the ARB roof rack on it, so it has some extras, but overall, I gotta tell you, that's the first time you saw me get in the vehicle and drive it with you. The vehicle showed up yesterday. I had a lot to do, so I wanted to do the video this morning. And just like all of these new generation Toyotas, it drives amazing. Now, as someone that owned a 4Runner for 3 years, the pros of that classic 4Runner is exactly what you'd expect. It was built like a tank. The 4-liter V6 that was in there was legendary and bulletproof. Like, if you had to get through an Armageddon, that was going to be the vehicle to get you there. A lot of complaints from 4Runner owners was it felt underpowered. That was always something you heard, and I concur with that feeling of underpower. It was definitely something that if you were on the highway getting up to speed, if you were coming out of a toll plaza, welcome to New Jersey, it kind of got in its own way as far as getting up to speed. The one we're sitting in now is a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder hybrid. This thing has a lot of power. It has a lot of torque. I could just tell right away by driving it around a couple blocks. And, you know, from going from the old setup to the new setup, night and day difference. As far as the design on the outside of this truck, radical is the word that comes to mind. It still has that 4Runner DNA look, but everything is upgraded. Don't forget, the last generation of 4Runner was around for like 14 or so model years. They didn't do a lot of stuff to that vehicle. Again, it was a legendary setup. People loved it, but man, this thing is something else. Let's go and hit the gas pedal a little here. Yeah, I mean, throws you back in your seat. Compared to the old 4Runner, if you're a fan and you're in the market for a 4Runner and you have the cashola, because again, this isn't very cheap, something you definitely want to check out is this vehicle here. This has an average MPG of around 23, which is way higher than the last generation, the outgoing generation of 4Runner. Looks cool, has a lot of equipment on it. You got the Fox suspension, you got the TRD wheels, you got the all-terrain tires. This has Rigid Industry fog lights. This particular one is in the mud bath color, which is the special TRD Pro color for 2025. It has, locking rear diff, multi-terrain select, crawl control, the TRD grille up front. We have a moon roof here. It has the additional roof rack on it. It sounds great. That's one thing. Everybody thinks 4-cylinder, it's gonna have no sound, it's gonna be awful. This actually sounds really good. I don't know if it's a fed-in situation like on some of the other models, like Tundra has the fed-in sound. If you have the JBL sound system, they have this sound tuned really nicely. The pickup is unreal. The steering is great. It doesn't have a lot of body sway. The braking is actually very good, and it's something that I complain about all the time with hybrid Toyotas that I've driven. Is because of brake regen, the braking feels weird. It feels different, but this braking doesn't feel bad. I'm very impressed with this. I mean, the price tag is something that would throw me off, but as far as the 4Runner, I was one of those people that was ready to be very critical and really focus my attention on the new generation 4Runner because it's, like I said, it's the Jeep Wrangler of the Toyota lineup. People are intense about the 4Runner. Every little thing that's done to it, people will have an opinion about. So they had to make sure they did it right. And as far as look, and now finally getting behind the wheel of one, the performance, I really like it. Again, the price tag is not gonna be something for everyone, but don't forget, there's other trims of 4Runner you could get that are a lot cheaper. There's also a regular iForce engine, not the hybrid, that you could get and still provides way more power than the old setup as well. So Toyota really focused on, especially with these trucks and SUVs in their newer generation, focusing on things like the drivability of the truck. You hear me say all the time. Everything about the aspects of driving the vehicle is just better. The handling's better, the braking's better, and I'm talking all of them. Tundra, Tacoma, 4Runner, Sequoia, every new generation SUV and truck that I've driven, that's the first thing you feel is how much of a pleasure it is to drive these vehicles. All of the stuff they did in the old generation, mind you, everything now is hybrid and turbocharged, and that's obviously going to give you more horsepower and torque. So you get that right away with the new setup. As far as technology, and we were saying early on how people used to say that Toyotas were fairly bland as far as their designs. I mean, this is just, it's an insane amount of options in this versus how it used to be. If we're talking 4Runner to 4Runner, old generation to this generation, you now get a digital gauge cluster, a 14-inch screen, you got a wireless charger. It has a lot of DNA from the Tacoma new generation interior, and I really like it because I was a big fan of that as well. Being it's TRD Pro, you get the black stitched Softex seats in here that are heated and ventilated, or digital rear view mirror. They basically took the 4Runner that was, pretty much came one way. There wasn't a lot of technology in it. They did small upgrades along the way on the 4Runner, but nothing crazy like this. So they took the classic 4Runner, basically started a new design and added all the technology in it. And I think people will be happy if you get behind the wheel of it. It has a great sound. It drives fantastic. It has a lot of off-road goodies on it if you're going to take it off the pavement. But I don't know how many people are going to be taking a $73,000 SUV off the pavement. And if you do, you probably have a lot of money to where if there was any damage, it wouldn't matter. So Toyota knows that. And I think they focused more on the on-road aspect of these vehicles this time around when it came to these new generations. So the power's there, the handling's there. They got a lot of safety features. Now this has Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. So you got pedestrian detection, your automatic braking, it can read signs. This also has blind spot monitoring and parking sensors, the 360 camera. So you're gonna have not only all the off-road goodies, not only a amazing looking new generation 4Runner, but you're gonna have all of the safety features as well. And that is something that Toyota has focused on in all of their models. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Once again, 2.4 liter, 4-cylinder turbocharged hybrid. It also has an 8-speed transmission. This thing is meant to take you where you want to go. 23 mpg, on-road, off-road. This thing is pretty sick. So I want to hear down in the comments below, what are your thoughts on the new generation 4Runner? What is your thoughts on the new generation 4Runner TRD Pro with all the extra stuff on it, the Fox suspension, the TRD wheels, the TRD skid plate? This has a rear differential skid plate with all of those great options that I think many of you will like. One thing for your con list will be they're just too expensive. I already know the answer to that. But as someone that's driving it for the first time, this thing is pretty sweet. I'm going to shut the cameras off now and take it for a little ride, get some pictures of it by the water. But until next time, let me know what you think. We will do a full walk around of all the features on our next video with this great vehicle. And I absolutely love mud bath. Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok at TundraDude34, TundraDude34@gmail.com. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the new generation 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro.